So world of YouTube out you here. And the moon is shining. We're getting any skinwalkers or wolves. I want to do a little bit of something, spice it up. And definitely one thing I like doing is going over great albums, great music. And I came across this article today, and I am very disappointed of what I've read. And of course, if anybody don't know this, we have the great Mr. Eddie Van Halen. Now, huge fan of Van Halen. I know their first 4 to 5 albums, including Fair Warning and Women and Children First, were a huge impact on my life. Don't get me wrong, Van Halen 2 were also great. And of course, this next album we're going to be speaking of, 1984. And, anyways, I know when I first heard Eddie Van Halen in Eruption was, of course, on the radio back in 1979 or maybe 1980. And, like everybody else, my face was probably like, who the fuck is this guy? Who is this? Holy shit. Now, don't get me wrong. You know, I have my 5 top guitarists of all time. Yes, I guarantee Eddie Van Halen is right up in that top 5. But, I know I got my ass whooped for the Fair Warning album. That's right. Because whenever I heard the first lyrics of Sinners Swing, you know, that, the beginning intro to that song, man, was, you know, if anybody don't know how it goes, it's danger in the rearview mirror, there's trouble in the wind, the menace is on the loose again. Oh no, something's on the loose again. Menace is or something in the wind, and I can't remember. But what was really got me going was she looked so fucking good, so sexy and so fresh. You know, something got a bite on me. I'm going straight to hell. And whenever I heard her first swear on the record, she looked so effing good. I tell you, I was with my buddy and I said, come on over my house, man. I got a record player. You gotta listen to this. So he comes over and he's like, oh man, his face dropped. You know, we're sitting there, you said the F word. And I put it back. When, you know, when that part came up, it started going, she looked so I scratched the record. Wouldn't you know, my brother came down like 3-4 days later. Because I heard the friggin' album playing, and I heard the songs going through, and then I heard Sinner Swing come up. She looked so oh my God. And there I am in my room, waiting for what was coming, because this wasn't the first time that I took an album and scratched it. Oh man, you son of a bitch, kick the door open, there he comes flying and boom. I'm like, oh boy, he fucking whooped my ass. I mean, you know, records back in the day, them were like gold. But anyways, moving on, you know. And from there, I was hooked, man. Running with the devil. You know, Jamie's Crying, all the frickin' hits. And, you know, one of my favorite all-time songs from Van Halen would be Unchanged and Fools. Oh, man, I just love the riffs and the guitar work. You know, even though 1984 wasn't as heavy as them albums, and don't get me wrong, but I gotta admit though, they kept up with the times. That's what made them so great. That's what made them, you know, unique. And that's what I say when I heard this friggin' you know, all other songs like Everybody Wants Some, and you know, Van Halen 2 was just as heavy. I mean, don't get me wrong, man. Them albums just ripped up in a new way of and knowing that Eddie Van Halen learned everything not from a book is even more amazing. That man just picked up that guitar, and if everybody don't know, Eddie Van Halen used to play drums before that, and Alex was playing the guitar. And they probably just sat there and looked at each other and said, man, I think you need this. And I'm sure Eddie said, yeah, I think you need these. But 1984, man, what a year it was in 83. And it wasn't one of the best times of my life, but because I got taken out of a home I knew. And this is around the time my mother and father split up. But just as long as the music was there, I was good. The 1984 album was one of them albums that just kept me going. And everybody was at that phase. I mean, here we have a producer, Ted Templeton, and Mr. Goofball, David Lee Roth himself, which today I kind of, you know, put Dave as he's lost it. I'm sorry. Ever since he left Van Halen, I mean, don't get me wrong, his 3 albums, Skyscraper, Eat 'em and Smile, and Sensible Shoes. And I think Sensible Shoes, I will say, that's the album that he started, to me, starting to go a little bit downhill. He lost his edge. But don't get me wrong, the albums that he did make were good. But after that, man, the guy's going to be a New York EMT. And then when he blew up about, oh man, I don't like rock and roll, I love to dance. I mean, don't get me wrong, the guy put his own unique bounce around stuff on the stage. But he's all about, I want to meet Mickey Minaj and or whatever the hell her name is. I'm not a fan of her, but Nicki Minaj. And he wants to dance with her, he wants to meet her, and all of a sudden, Diamond Dave is this friggin' dance freak. Now, don't get me wrong, I could bust a move if I want. Get myself going. I'll get out on the dance floor and rip it up, but I don't lose my edge in metal. I gotta have my metal. I gotta have it. I can't live without it. But but the 1984 album to me, and I mean songs like Hot for the Teacher. Oh man, I remember someone talking about that on a radio show. I think it was WAF, and they were trying to bust on Alex Van Halen's drumming, and all he did was did a little dubbing in it. But that was all him banging them bass drums. And I mean, in ways you can say that that song probably kind of inspired a little bit of speed metal, the double bass. You know, oh man, every time I hear that song and that drum solo in the beginning intro, goddamn, I want to take my friggin' car and I want to go about $110 down the highway. Yeah! I mean, oh damn, and and then you got, you know, David Lee Roth and Ted Templeton, and here's Ted Templeton, and I quote, Ted starts talking about Jump, and he's, what is that, critical. He doesn't like the song. He didn't like the way it was put together, and he even says, I don't really like that album. Talk to me about Jump in the band's history. How significant was it in them being able to move forward? So of course Ted Templeton don't like the friggin' song, don't like the album. And you know what, I don't care what Ted Templeton says. Don't get me wrong, he is a great, awesome producer. Because he's also branched off and, you know, managed the act of the Bullet Boys, which I wish they would have stuck around. And even country sensation, you know, Shania Twain. And, you know, the guy's talent you cannot, you know, overlook. But for him to go off and rant about this, and even David Lee Roth didn't like the song, and Eddie fought for it, to be on the album, do it his way, and just like that, I mean, when that song came out, I don't care what anybody says, it might have been, you know, not as heavy as the previous albums, and don't get me wrong, I mean, Dive It Down, to me, I have my favorites on that album, but for them to, you know, they made them do Dancing in the Street, Pretty Woman. I mean, don't get me wrong, when Van Halen started out, that's all they did was cover songs. But what band didn't? You had to do cover songs. If you had an original, you can throw it in there. But that's what bands do back then. You gotta do that stuff. And they pushed for them songs to be on that album. Eddie got pissed. So I think that took all his frustration out on this album. And as you can see, the most played friggin' song of Van Halen is off of 1984. And that's Hot for the Teacher. Because how that song, like Pantera, the brothers, Vinny and Dimebag said that they're Eddie Van Halen in the Van Halen brothers' music, you know, was pure energy. And that's right, you get goosebumps when you hear that shit coming on. And when you hear the intro to like Unchanged, or you hear Fools, and I love that song. I can play that on guitar, man. And that's one of the riffs I love to kick out, because it's like spit down, sweating, kick you in the teeth, grind wrenching riff that right put you in the friggin' box by getting kicked down, boom, the foot and everything, man. But Jump, I'll tell you, when Jump came out, you know how many people, all right, now this is fucking hilarious, how many people I saw wanting to do what David Lee Roth did with Jump, and did his friggin', you know, his extended leg kick, like Bruce Lee or Chuck Norris. Wow, you know, there's David Lee Roth, he is a 3rd-degree black belt. And he's out there doing his kicks, and if you watch some of their shows, he's out there with a fucking samurai sword, friggin' whipping it around. I mean, that was Diamond Dave, man. He put a good act into the show, too. But I watched my brother, man, out of all the people in the world, I never would imagine or even picture my brother doing this. But he got up there one day and he put on the song, came on fucking MTV. And David Lee Roth starts singing, jump, jump. He's over here doing the old split kick in the air. And I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? He just got done eating my tuna sandwich. And he's trying to make me laugh because he ate my tuna sandwich and he bit into it. And I'm pissed off. I'm like, what are you doing to my sandwich over there? Jump, jump. He kicks his legs out. I'm like, what the fuck? He looked like Dave and everything, you know. He got it out there just good. And he wasn't the first time and first person I seen people trying to do that kick. That's how that fucking song exploded. Hell, I've even done it. That's right. Get up there and jump, jump. And when they talk about the jukebox, man, and standing on the record machine and, you know, bring back them memories and shit. That's what Van Halen does. And even though Dive It Down wasn't a great album, Eddie didn't like it. I mean, I give props to that because, you know, everybody, like I always say, if you're into heavy metal, you need a little cool down music. You need something to relax to because after a night of banging your head, and your neck's all sore the next day and you can't even move your freaking body. That's right, go to Little Guitars on the friggin' Dive It Down. And, you know, get the little groove on that you need. Listen to Big Bad Bill, the Sweet William Now, and sing the song with him at the end with Happy Trail to You. That's right. You know, all the songs that just, and I mean, don't get me wrong, and one thing about, you know, Dive It Down, man, funny friggin' story, when I was like 9 years old, and when I heard the first Intruder intro, The Pretty Woman, I always thought, what the hell did they put this song in front of this song for? But, you know, there was a massive, mean, kick-ass riff, just like Eruption. And I guess I can say that it got me inspired because I was being bullied at the time. Of course, once again, talking about my bullying days. And there was a group of kids told me to meet them down in this part of town of Leominster. And I was living in Leominster at the time. That's when my mother and father had split up and went their separate ways. Living in Leominster, my mother was in there, and so I get word that this kid was looking at me going, kick your ass. And I said, oh, really? So as I'm getting myself pumped up, I bring my little portable radio, that's right. Put in Intruder. So I'm blaring the fucking thing. Mind you, it's only a 1 and 30-second song. This is the funny part. Every time I think of it today, oh man, I want to piss myself. But as I'm walking down the street, I just had left my house. I got down this one certain street, not thinking, you know, it's going to take me about 5 minutes to get to this place. When you know the friggin' Intruder stops. I'm still walking down the street and then Pretty Woman kicks in. Now I'm thinking, oh my God, what the hell? I can't play this. I'm going to go get into a fight. You know what? I can't play this friggin' song. What the fuck? So as I'm walking down the street playing my Intruder, here, bear with me. So anyways, I gotta make this quick, but as I'm walking down the street playing Intruder, the song stops. When you know I gotta stop and rewind. Can't play Pretty Woman. You go down, you get into this song, Roy Orbison, dun 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 dun. I said, what the hell? So I had to sit there and rewind the friggin' tape. Mind you, like I said, it took me about 5, maybe 6 minutes. I stopped 3 times to rewind the friggin' tape. Jesus Christ. And man, I felt kind of stupid on the way because I'm like, how the hell am I going to do this? I need this song for a fight. I'm thinking I need a fight with this song, but it's only a minute. So I mean, the day, I don't even think the kids showed up that day, so I freaking went down there for nothing. The only thing I got out of that day was my fucking tape running out of the song, and I had to stop and rewind it. I was like, what the fuck? And then the guy don't show up, and I'm like, you son of a bitch. So I ended up going back home, and I said, fuck it. I played the song, then I played Pretty Woman, and then went into the other songs. I'm like, yeah, I might as well just finish it. Damn it. But for people like this to sit there and say this album, man, and David Lee Roth, like I said, that man lost his mind. And for him to, here's the Diver Down, Intruder 140, there it is. And dancing in the street. Yeah, I'm gonna go down there dancing in the street, trying to get into a fight. But Little Guitars, intro, Little Guitars song. Like I say with these songs, man, you got them songs that make you, like Hang 'em High and Where Have All the Good Times Gone? Which I made some different lyrics for that song. I'm going to try and get them up soon for this coronavirus thing. I wanted to sing it and, change the lyrics in it. Came out pretty good, I think. But, there was another song down below that I liked, but I couldn't get it up and fit in the screenshot here, but I don't even rag on this album. It wasn't the greatest, but like I say, you need that album for when you have a night of banging that head. Bang your head! Metal out the drive, you bad! Yeah. You gotta have that album to chill out to. And this is one of the greatest, I think, chill out, memorable albums, including, 1984. Except for when you get up to Panama, Heart for the Teacher, and, what's the last song on that album? There is one good heavy song on this. It's the last song, but I forget what the hell it is. But, damn it. Oh, House of Pain. Nice song to get yourself back in the motivation of banging your head. In this house of pain. No. But, to sit there and say David Lee Roth and manager, of course that's Ted Temple, and not liking Jump. Eddie, man, is the only reason why you're here on this earth. And your music proves it. Doesn't matter if you're with David Lee Roth, Sammy Hagar, or David, what the hell is his name? Sharon from Extreme. Doesn't matter, man. Your music, your guitar riffs, you're legendary in my eyes. And the top of the list goes for me for top 5 all greatest guitarists of all time. I know I'll get some hate back on this, but I don't care. It's Tony Iommi, Eddie Van Halen, number 2, 3, Randy Rhoads, 4, Zakk Wylde. But I have to put Mr. Dimebag in front of him. And then you got Zakk Wylde, number 6. Them are my top favorite of all time. Them are the ones that made me realize that, whoa, you can do that with a guitar? It's like, holy shit. Just your face expression. But I'm backing up 1984 album, and the Platinumism speaks for itself. For these two boneheads to say they didn't like it, Eddie, I'm glad you didn't change a thing. I'm glad you stuck with your guns. And I'm glad that you put it all together, man. Because to me, I hope he's doing well. I know he was battling fucking cancer, man. But this is pretty much a tribute from this band that literally, man, got my ass kicked for scratching your album. But I'll always have a part in my life for fucking Van Halen to the day I die. And to see these guys just, man, I even bought their new album. The truth whatever, with the train, I forget the name of it, but that album, I mean, with the reuniting of David Lee Roth, I mean, I think it could have went a little better, but I think David lost his mind. David Lee Roth sits there and does more on the stage with dancing around than what he should be doing with the music. That's what I think. I'm sorry, Dave. Don't get me wrong. You were there from the beginning. But I swear to God, man, you have lost your mind. I wish this guy would just go back to his old form and just kick ass like they used to. Pure ass kicking. And even hell, even if they go back and do another album with Sammy Hagar, man. I mean, I always debated that. Dave or Sammy. I'd always go with Dave, but I can't deny Sammy either, man. He was the right fit to take any place. And now that I know the story that David Lee Roth, he wanted to go do a movie. And because he failed or whatnot, he couldn't get it going. I mean, you know, he thought he was, this, I think that was what I read in the story, that he wanted to go do a movie career or something. And by the time he found out that it wasn't going to work, they already picked up Sammy. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't Eddie's fault. It was Dave's fault. He left the band. I mean, the tension between them, don't get me wrong, it was there also. And when things like this come up, you can tell the tension. But as you can see, they got through that album and it was platinum. That's right. Now always defend this album. Brings back great memories. And for them to, Eddie, to do what he does with a guitar, hell, even with a fucking keyboard, man. Just tapping them fingers. Oh, man, he is just a genius of his own. But, like I say, he says it best. There's not one great guitarist. We're all great guitarists. Everybody has their own magic, pretty much, is what he said. And he ain't even labeling himself as the greatest, but when you never learn from a book, and you come out with stuff like this, making people want to jump, Eddie, I'm sorry, man. You changed something, bro. And I honor you for that. Huge fan, and I took my ass kicking well. Took it like a man when I scratched that record. Till that next video, be safe, take care, always beware, and always have Van Halen in your playlist. If you don't know him, and if you never heard of him, get the goddamn albums now. I'm telling you now, and listen. Because this is one band you don't ever want to not hear again. Pure genius. Out.